Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to have Lumabuilt here. I'm going to do some quick introductions for you all. Go jump over to Acelab for a moment, show you their page over there, and then we will get started. So my name's Kayla. I'm here representing the Acelab team, and we have Cheryle here from Lumabuilt who will be guiding us through the presentation. And those of you who are not already familiar, I'm going to take you over to Acelab for just a moment. So in just a moment, you should be able to see my screen. We're here on Lumabuilt's page in Acelab. Just for future reference, if you're looking for their page or a specific manufacturer, you can use this search bar at the top of the screen. Click manufacturers right here to filter for manufacturers, and you'll be able to find any specific brands you're looking for. But in this case, we have Lumabuilt. We have some really great information on their page here. Got some contact information, video, as well as their products. So these products also have more information in each page, so you can click into these to learn more about the products. You can also click right here to save it to your firm library. That way you have it there for future reference. And yeah, so I'll send you guys the link in the chat to this page so you can explore and learn more as we go through the presentation today. And a couple other things to make note of before we officially get started. We will be doing Q&A towards the end of the presentation. So if at any point you have any questions that come up, feel free to drop them in the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We'll get to those at the end. We will also have a webinar poll that will come up. So the webinar poll is really a way to get you connected with Cheryle and her team after the webinar. So fill it out. If you're not interested in getting follow-up, it's an optional poll, so you can just click the X, it'll go away. However, if you fill out the poll, feel free to share any specific information that you're looking for, technical installation information, samples, etc., and any project details that you might have, and we will open a conversation in Acelab with the Lumabuilt team. So you'll get an email notification when that conversation is open, and you can either respond directly to that email or you can log into your Acelab account and communicate with their team there. Again, it's a great way to get any further questions answered or set up a meeting, anything like that. And we will also be doing a post-webinar survey. So we really appreciate any feedback that you have. So feel free to leave that there at the end. And with that being said, Cheryle, I'll go ahead and pass it to you to get us started.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your summer. I'm excited to be presenting today and give you all some wonderful information on our company, Lumabuilt. We are a single source provider of aluminum cladding products, so we can certainly help with your cladding solutions. Lumabuilt is great for design applications for interior and exterior. You'll find that most of our products are applicable to exterior and interior. They are Class A fire rated. So they're great for cladding and siding, soffits and ceilings, pergolas, rainscreen systems, architectural elements, and we also offer custom sizing on several of our products. Our finishes are available in solid colors. You can have a smooth or textured, wood grain finishes, metallics, micas, custom colors and finishes, pretty much anything you can think of. So why Lumabuilt? As I mentioned, we are a single source metal supplier. We are made in the United States. Our plant is out of Phoenix, Arizona. And considering the tariffs that are taking place currently, that's a great thing to keep in mind. Again, we offer custom finishes. They can be matched to existing materials. We can do ACM to window mullions, sheet metal roofing or siding, perforated metal, custom sheet metal fabrications, custom trim, extrusions, pretty much anything. We also have what we call design assist. So if you are working on a project and you have, say, a conceptual rendering and you would like to consider using our products, but you're not sure if it would work, we can coordinate a Teams meeting with our engineers and we'll take a look at it and go through the plans with you and then decide whether or not our products are a good fit. Or you could just send me drawings. We can do takeoffs, we can do shop drawings. I sent material out to LAX airport, $200,000 worth of beams, and we did the shop drawings and the engineered stamp for that as well. So basically, full service, one-stop shop and solution for those of you who are entertaining aluminum cladding for projects. So as again, design assist, tech support, this basically is going through, I got a little ahead of myself. Engineering tech calculations, we have installation support. And when you're working with Lumabuilt, you're going to have an assigned customer service person. I will be your first point of contact, but for any projects, you will have one point of contact throughout the whole process. Everything that we do is in Salesforce. So for any reason I'm not available, if I'm on vacation, my boss can look in there and see exactly what we've been working on, all quotes, all drawings, everything are in Salesforce under your company name or the project name. So we do have programs available for national accounts, and we have tiered pricing. We don't work through a distributor, so your GC is able to buy direct. That helps eliminate the middleman and helps keep costs down. And we do have an AIA affiliation, and we do, maybe some of you have attended, but we do offer AIACU lunch and learns. So if you haven't been to one, if you're somewhere and your firm would like to have one, please just let me know. So we do like to say we offer solutions, not just products. Our battens and our planks are under our series called Mosaic. These are our rainscreen system. Visage is our ACM. Now we offer some proprietary colors, but we are a fabricator of panels. We don't manufacture sheets that we distribute. We actually purchase sheets from Alpolic, Alucobond, and Renabon. And again, we have some proprietary colors, but we actually fabricate, like I said, the panels to the specifications. And something that we do that's a little different, and you'll find from a lot of fabricators, is that we actually have a QR code on the back of each panel that lets you know where on the project that panel is to be installed. And we also etch on the back of each panel the sales order number and the part number. So if, heaven forbid, a panel was damaged, it's a quick reference to be able to quickly reorder the panel. Been on many job sites throughout my career, and people are scrambling. What pallet was it on? What is it? Somebody knows the sales order number. So it really makes life so much easier if, heaven forbid, something's damaged. We also offer plate. We offer plate in sizes up to 46 by 118 inches. So that is something that we'll get into a little further here in detail. I'm sure everyone knows that aluminum is 100% recyclable. What you may not know is that aluminum can be recycled indefinitely without, trying to get this out there, without losing any of its properties. And another interesting fact is that about 75% of all aluminum ever produced is still in use today. Lumabuilt uses recycled aluminum in all of our product offerings. So if you're working on a project where you're needing lead points or it's a green building, it's definitely a great type of product to consider. So if you're not familiar with the different types of aluminum products that are available, on the top left here, you'll see aluminum composite, which is often referred to as ACM, full depth aluminum plate, aluminum single skin cladding, which is basically roofing material. On the bottom left is aluminum plank products, and then there are architectural aluminum battens as well. So if you weren't aware, ACM by definition is aluminum, like again, aluminum composite. It's a multi-layer composite. It utilizes 2 exterior sheets of aluminum, and there are multiple core material options available that are bonded together to form a single sheet. And what you're going to need to look at for cladding for a building is going to need to be the one on the far right, which is comprised of the 9 sheets at the top right. This is panel composition. But those are going to be either a PE core, which stands for polyethylene, or they're going to be a FR, which is fire retardant core. If you're looking at a product that has a polyethylene core, you can only go as high as 40 feet on a building. If you're going to install ACM higher than that, you need to make sure you're looking at a product that offers a fire retardant core. Our products and all the 3 others that I mentioned that we purchased from all do have a fire retardant core. There's a lot of different options for ACM. You'll see there are wood grains. There are a lot of different color options. There's metallics and micas as well. Now, a typical CNC table is what is used to route and return ACM. You'll see there, same kind of table that's used to make countertops. If you look at the top right, you can see where it's been routed and then it's been returned. On the far right, you'll see it's like a U shape, and that would give you a nice way of wrapping a column. It would also, you could keep one side straight and then wrap the corner of a building. However, on the left side, you can see it's been returned one way, and then the other end has been returned a different way. And what that would allow you to do is incorporate fins as an architectural interest on a building. The great thing about that is it's one consistent piece, so you're not having to worry about adding a different element that could potentially loosen up over time as the building, thermally moves, contracts and expands. Between each panel, you're going to see that there is a reveal, and a standard reveal is going to be a 1/2 inch. However, we can make a reveal up to 4 inches. It just allows you to have a nice design feature on a building, as you see in this photograph. Something else that's interesting, the reveal does not have to match the panel. It can be a different color just to provide some depth. Sometimes you'll see white tile that has white grout, and sometimes you'll see white tile that has black grout. It just allows it to pop a little more. So it's kind of that concept, but it's just something to keep in mind, an inexpensive way of being able to provide architectural interest and inexpensively. We can do that for you. Now, here are some Lumabuilt ACM installations. The building on the far left is a building at the University of Arizona. And you can see they've actually used triangles. So ACM doesn't have to be a square or a rectangle. My colleague in California is actually working on a project where they're doing a honeycomb shape. So just something to think outside the box. And you can see they've also used different reveal widths to provide some architectural interest, some depth to the building. On the top right, you'll see some bright colors being utilized. And then on the bottom right, you'll see some more neutral colors that have been utilized. Something that's great about ACM is that custom colors can be developed. This is a prime example. This is a copyrighted color for Chevy. Anytime you go down the road, now you'll notice it. If you never really paid attention to it before, you're going to notice it now that I brought it up to you, I promise. So if you're driving down the road looking for a Chevy truck, you're not sure where the dealership is, you're going to see that big pop of blue down the road, you're going to know you found it. But this, like I said, is just a branding ID. It's like, I jokingly say, like the Golden Arches. I live in Atlanta, so it's like, Chick-fil-A red. We see that, so we know where it is. But just, a branding ID. The thing about doing the custom colors, there is a 5,000 square foot minimum. I'm going to tell you that too. Or actually, it's 5,500 square feet. I apologize. This is just another example of ACM installed. I hope you guys cannot hear the lawn people out the backyard. I'm sorry about that. But ACM systems are a drain back ventilated rainscreen system, so there's no sealants or gaskets. Concealed fasteners are your most popular. There are a lot of versatile framing options, and attachment points. Now, all of the ACM that we have proprietary and those that we purchase are coil-coated ACM, so they're going to have a 20-year finish warranty on them. As I mentioned, minimum runs, for custom colors, which again is 5,500 square feet. And something that's really important to note, if you're looking to use ACM, metallics have a directional finish and layout. It is very noticeable. I was at a building in downtown Atlanta, and when I brought this up, all the architects said, look out the window. And sure enough, on a prominent building downtown, there was a big sign on a building, and a big chunk of it was discolored. It's because it wasn't laid out properly. So just bear that in mind. And also know that you could play into it. You could do a cool pattern with it as well. So full depth aluminum plate, it's one of the most durable options for rain screens. It's impact resistant. It's recommended for high traffic areas. It's going to install very similar to ACM. There are multiple sheet thicknesses available. And the beauty of this to me is that there are multiple finish options available. So you can do a powder coating, you can wet paint it, and you can sublimate it. And sublimate's a process that we use. It's a heat transfer process that we use to put like a stone or a wood grain. And I'm going to get into that here a little deeper in a few minutes. So here's a great example. On the left, you'll see Copper. Maybe you've wanted to use copper in a project, or zinc or something to that effect, but it's just too darn expensive. And this is a great way to, I think zinc was running around $50 a square foot for material costs, but we can make it look like zinc or copper for $25 a square foot. And then you don't have the inherent maintenance that you would have. I can't remember if on this particular slide we show Corten or not, but Corten's another one. People like the look sometimes, but it's basically rust and would be just a terrible mess. But we have our weathering steel finish that looks like Corten. So that, again, gives you an option to do something you might otherwise not want to use. And on the right, this is, again, plate, but it's got a teal pebbled look to it. It's really cool. Now, I mentioned mosaic. Now, mosaic, again, is our planks and our batten. And it's what we do is use what I was mentioning a minute ago is our sublimation process. It's a powder coated sublimation process. And what it is a process where we reproduce a pattern or an image using a heat transfer film. And it's a powder coated process. So anything that we're going to sublimate is going to be powder coated first. And it's going to have that film wrapped airtight around it. And what happens is it goes into an oven and it turns that ink on that film into a gas that attaches to the powder coating. So it allows us, it provides us a means of creating decorative finishes that we can recreate patterns like wood grains, marbles, like a weathered steel that I mentioned, anything like that onto extruded aluminum. It's a very cool process. The key thing about being able to do that is anything that we're going to sublimate has to be able to withstand 392 degrees. 92 degrees without deformation, because it takes that heat, the temperature, to turn that ink on that film into a gas that attaches to the powder coating. So once we know it can be done, we're going to use these, we're going to pre-treat it really well, clean it so that you can get a high quality powder coating. And then we're going to use these electrostatic guns like you see here to powder coat the product. It's going to go into an oven and bake on, and that's going to help with factors like weather, corrosion, and abrasion. And here again, you can see at the top left, that plank is now gold. It's not silver any longer because it's been powder coated. And then you can see the film is getting ready to be wrapped around it, and it's a wood grain. So if it's a light film, we're usually going to have a light powder coating. If it's a dark film, we'll usually have a darker powder coating. So it gets wrapped airtight around there, and then it goes into this oven. Now, this oven and the films are from Italy. They're from a company called Cheryle. And you want to make note of this because we'll see on our website, and I'll show you when we're done, our chain set of our standard finishes. A perfect example is I'm working on a project in Florida where they wanted a concrete look. Well, concrete's not a standard look, but you can go to Cheryle and they have hundreds of finishes. So say you were looking for a marble or again, the concrete look, you can go on their website, go to Cheryle, and then go to Cheryle USA, and you can see all the different finishes they have. So if you don't see what you need from our chain set, our standard colors, you can go there and we can request 2 or 3. They get a little upset if we get too many involved. So I requested 3 for this project and they selected a concrete look that they wanted. So I just want to let you know that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. However, we will match existing materials. So if you had something you need to match, you can send us a sample and we will have them match it for you. So anyway, it goes into this this oven. It bakes for about 10 minutes. It comes out. It gives enough time to turn that ink into a gas that attaches. What it does is that heat loosens up that powder coating just enough so that when the ink attaches to it, and then it comes out and cools off, it becomes an integral part of the powder coating. It's like, come from tile, so you'll see why I have references to tile, but it's like porcelain tile. It gets inkjet printed and it goes into an oven. At least, it softens up that clay just enough that ink absorbs into it. When it comes out, it cools off and it becomes an integral part. And the reason I tell you this is because I've been asked numerous times if it's going to delaminate, is it going to just peel off? No, it won't. It's an integral part of the aluminum now. So I just wanted you to know that. Now, on the bottom left, you'll see that pattern. If you look close, that wood grain is now on the plank and the film is blank. So the exhausted film is blown off, removed, and recycled. And then what you end up with from Lumabuilt, I needed to add this. I did it on my other presentations. I haven't done this one in a while, so I apologize. But we now offer a 2.5 inch, a 4, 6, 8, and 10. We had a client last summer that had a huge project with ACM and battens, but they had to have a 2.5 inch plank. So we made the form and made it for them. We will do customs if it makes sense. We're not in the business of losing money. So if it's something that we can do and it makes sense for everybody, then we will certainly do it for you. So we now, like I said, offer a 2.5, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Now the 2.5, 4, 6, and 8 are all the same price. The 10-inch goes up about $1.50 a square foot. So bear that in mind if you're looking at the 10-inch, if you ever are looking at that. You can mix them, mix the sizes together. They're all a standard length of 24 feet. We do have trims and extrusions available. Our trims and extrusions are sublimated extruded aluminum, just like the planks and battens. So the trim's going to match exactly. And I'm focusing that because I've had quite a few firms that I've been at are saying, oh, we use this product, but their trim was awful. It looked like it was painted or it looked like it was plastic. So just keep that in mind. You will not have that issue with our products. We also offer battens that range anywhere from a 1x3. We now have included up to 2x12. They can be installed vertically or horizontally. They are available in a 1 and 2 piece. They are also 24 foot in length. And like I said, you can do wood grain, solid colors, patterns, anything you can think of on these planks and battens. There's just a quick look at our standard wood finishes and some specialty finishes. But if you look at our website in Cal, you can see that there's a lot more than that available now. So sublimated aluminum applications, there's just so many applications for this. You can use it for soffits, siding, canopy, screen walls, privacy fencing, sunshades and louvers, signage and interiors. You can see this Tempe Union Hotel that's got the battens on it. I don't know if where you all are living, but Kroger's are refreshing a lot of their front entrances, and we're providing a lot of the material for that. And I love this photo on the bottom right. It's actually a pool bar at a Hilton property out in Arizona. It's just beautiful. It looks so real. You can't tell that it's not actual wood. Now, again, our planks and battens are under our series called Mosaic, and these are just some quick product advantages. It's very simple to install. It's 100% recyclable. It is a rain screen system, so it holds no moisture. It's lighter weight per square foot, which is great when you're dealing with freight. You're going to get a lot more material on a truck with lighter material than you are with, heavier material like solid wood or fiber cement. It won't crack or fracture over time or during install. The cutting of parts is airborne particulate free. You can see there are a lot of different, well, you will see, and you did see on that little chart, a lot of very realistic color options. You can actually have a wood grain look and not have to worry about termites or insects. The overall cost is typically lower. We do offer a 15-year finish warranty. There is a 20-year warranty available. It's a little more expensive because the powder coating costs more, but we do offer that. Like requires minimal maintenance. It's just a, mild soap and water. You may not even need the soap. Just rinsing it off usually will do the job. But it's also Class A fire rated, so it's non-combustible, so you can use it for an interior as well. And I've worked on quite a few projects lately where they're transitioning from the exterior to the interior, so it gives you that nice continuity. Here's an example where this building to me looked very commercial, but they really softened it up, installing our planks and the soffits of the balconies. And they've also done that in a lot of the other areas of the building and in the common spaces. Plates for lighting can be sublimated, as you see here. A lot of times you'll just see them cut out in the field, but we do have the ability to sublimate lighting plates. And here are a couple of nice projects that we did. The one on the left is a JW Marriott in California. And then on the right is a resort casino. You can see it's in the porte cochere there and around the door entrance. It's stacked stone and pavers. It would have been very washed out if it had just been that. So that really did help soften it up tremendously. Here you can see it's another Hilton that we did on the left, the battens being utilized and the end caps. Again, we have two different types of end caps for our battens. You can see here, they look just like it's one solid piece. And then over on the right side is the Cabazon, same hotel, project. You can see up in the porte cochere there. Here is a great example of what I was talking about, our sublimated trim. You can see how nice our trim, it blends in perfectly with the planks because it's made the exact same way. Signage can be attached through the planks. Here is a nice building that we completed last summer. It's a multi-purpose pavilion. And it's near the State Farm Ballpark Arena out in Phoenix. And I will tell you that we received a $2.2 million PO. We're in the process of shipping some of it now for the new Tennessee Titans Stadium. I'll tell you that because I feel it lends a lot of credibility to who we are. You may not have heard of us. If you're on the West Coast, you probably knew who we were. Our prior owner was happy in this 250 to 300 mile radius. So we're well known on the West Coast, but not so much on the East, which is why they've hired me. I cover the East Coast. I live in Atlanta, as I may have mentioned. So getting this project was huge for us. I think it'll be a great high profile project just to help here on the East Coast. So we're really excited about that. And it's kind of similar to this obviously this is a much, much smaller scale, but it's cantilevered like you see here. So I think it's going to just be a stunning project when it's completed. I'm real excited. We do have some national accounts, Tim Horton being one of those. You can see our planks installed here. And just some quick details of installation, very simple. We have a ton of details. If you're working on something and you need help again, we have the design assist to help with details. So if you don't see what you want on our website or something that you need for a particular job, our engineers will draw it for you. So don't worry about that. We're here to help. So anything you need, just let us know. It's a horizontal installation. We have all installation guide. We have all types of stuff to help out. And this is our clip system. It's proprietary to us. We have a patent on it. It's stainless steel. It's not plastic. It's not going to rust. So it is very high quality. And then you can see where it says clip AB PLCP. You can see there where it allows for some movement. I mentioned that the planks are 24 foot in length, and I've had folks express concern about buckling. That's not going to happen. That clip does allow for some movement, but our trim does as well. It's like installing tile or wood. You don't ever install it up against the wall. That's why we have shoe mold and code base to hide that gap to allow for contraction and expansion. And it's the same concept in our trim. So just you don't have to worry about that. Here are some basic trims that we offer: a J closure, different end caps. So I mentioned we have battens. Now we do offer them. They have unsurpassed aesthetics. They are offered in a solid two-piece, as I mentioned earlier, again, 24 foot in length. You can mount them vertically or horizontally. Just bear in mind they are architectural, they're not structural, so they would need to be attached to a solid structure, as you see here. Now, if you have a situation where you can install a batten like you have here and you don't see the attachment, then that's when you would want to consider using a solid batten. Here's a good example of an installation. Now, if you had a situation where you're going to need to install it and you would see the attachment, then we have a two-piece batten. And when we're done, I'll show you how that works. Mr. Car Wash is another national account. If they're not in your town, it'll be there soon, I'm pretty sure, because they're going gangbusters. But we do provide battens and planks for them. This is a better picture of the one I showed earlier. You can see how nice it looks. You can't tell it's not real. Here's a little hotel that we did, a little Meridian. And a few slides ago, you saw a bunch of battens on the ceiling, 3 or 4 slides ago. Well, this is the project. It's a JW Marriott, where they continued the look into the interior. Like I said, it's Class A fire rated, so you can, install it on an interior. The great thing about this project, what just popped up here? Sorry. There's ACM on this project, there are battens on this project, and there are planks on this project, and we provided all of that material for this project. So it made their lives a lot easier. I'm telling you, when you can pass off a job, if you got 3 or 4 different aluminum products on a project, it's a lot easier for the GC to deal with one person from a scheduling perspective. They're going to get a better price, a bundled price, and they're going to get a much better freight rate. So those are just things that you may not have thought of, but you might want to consider it. It will make their life a lot easier. And 99% of the time, you're going to get much better pricing to help keep what you specified in the project. Well, maybe. What happened? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I love technology. So design criteria, purpose, form, function testing. We have a ton of testing. If there's something in particular that you need, please let me know. If you're working on projects on the East Coast where you need the NOA for Miami, we do have that now for our planks and battens. We're going to be working on it for our plate and ACM, but we do have, I think it's Alpolic. We buy their sheets, but they do have NOA, so that shouldn't be a problem if that's specified. That was a labor of love. I don't mind telling you. Nothing like getting the East Coast and you don't have the testing that you need, but we do have it now. So I'm happy to share. So the Lumabuilt Alliance, we are a very reputable company, well established. We've been in business about 35 years now. We have partnerships with our customers. It's a primary core value for us. There's a lot of people we've been doing business with for many, many years. You've got a lot of experience that our team brings to the table. We've all, I came from tile. I sold Dow Tile, Florida Tile for over 20 years. But we have people that have come from Kingspan, Oldcastle, just a ton of different collaboration of experience throughout our company. The single source, avoids supply chain issues. You're going to get better lead times, better quality issues, and coordination. When you're dealing with a one-stop shop of multiple aluminum product offerings, not to mention the customization that we offer. So the Lumabuilt assurance, again, long-term return on your investment. We have industry standard warranties, maintenance-free, industry standard testing, as I showed you, and the sustainability aspect of it is huge. Again, helps with lead points or any green buildings that you may be working on. So that's it. I'm going to stop share. Can you all see me? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Can everyone see me? I'm
I
going to
can.
show you really quick. Pardon? Is that okay? Yep. This is a sample chain set. You can see we have a ton of standard finishes for our planks, battens, and plate. But again, Decorall has a lot. So if you don't see what you're looking for here, you can start looking there. And we have our 2.5-inch plank, a 4-inch. Sorry, a 6-inch. I don't carry the 8 and 10 around anymore. They're too bulky for me in my suitcase to carry from place to place. Now here you can see the planks, when they're attached, they have a V groove in between each one of them. However, on our 6-inch, we also offer a flush plank. Can y'all see that? So you can barely even see it. So if you wanted to have a wall of a wood grain and you wanted the variation, but you didn't want it to look like it's a solid panel, this would be your way to go. You can do it on plate, but plate's about $25 a square foot. This is going to be about $17.50 a square foot with all the trim included. And we do offer price breaks on quantity. So that's just a starting point for what it would be. So keep that in mind. Estate would have it last summer, just before I had my final meeting with the architects on the Titan Stadium. They said, we don't have it drawn, but we're going to need a vented plank. And we had just come out with one. So we do offer a vented plank. You see that? In the 6-inch. Any of those finishes can be applied to it. And I have all the information you need for airflow for that as well. This is an example of plate with a wood grain look. Sorry, plate's not so great showing on here. But you can get big panels. Like I said, 46 by 118 is the largest you can go. It's really, really great it's in my car, I'm sorry. But the corten look or a stone look is better in plate. If you're trying to get a big stone effect on something, plate's the way to go on that. Battens. Sorry, I don't have a lot of space. So I don't have a conference table in my office. Um, I was mentioning this is what like a one piece would look like typically, and you could just attach it from up here. But as I mentioned, if you would see the attachment point, sorry, no, this is the two-piece batten. So this part would attach to the ceiling or the wall or whatever the case may be. And then this piece just snaps over it. And then you have your batten. That's a 2x2. This is a 2x4. Same concept. It's like a top board. This would be your attachment piece. And then this simply snaps on it. And then you have your bat. And see, we have the end caps, like I mentioned earlier. If you have an exposed end, we do have those end caps for that. Let me see. I think I pretty much talked about everything throughout the conversation. We do have, sorry, here, I pick it up. A catalog online, but we also have it's not real big. So if anybody would like a catalog, it shows you so much information. It shows you all the different sizes of battens that we offer. You can't even believe there's a lot of different sizes that we offer. Shows you a lot of different details, the different trim pieces that are available, the brackets that we have. Right now, the brackets that we have for the battens are exposed, but we're in the process of working on a non-exposed bracket for the battens. So that's coming soon. Our R&D department is working on a ton of new stuff that I'm super excited about. So if anybody would like me to send them a catalog or even the chain set of our finishes, I'm more than happy to do so. Just, let us know through the site. And if you would like anybody to come in and do a CU presentation, we're more than happy to do that as well. And my colleagues, different people that cover different areas of the country, but I would certainly connect you with them. Also, I forgot to tell you that we are on Hilton Suppliers Connection. So we are a preferred provider for Hilton. If any of you work on Hilton properties, and you can see you didn't see it, but we do Marriott's, Le Meridian. We've done a lot of different properties. So I hope that kind of gives you a great overview of who we are. I had a project, if any of you are golfers and know the Masters, Augusta, Georgia is not terribly far from here, and we did a project there. I found out about it on Construct Connect. There was 3 different aluminum products, so I reached out to the architect, told him who we were. He said he would approve us as an alternate. Got the plans from him, found out he was bidding. We did a takeoff, got pricing. I sent it to all the GCs, and the one who did get it used us. Happily so, because again, he got better pricing and only had to deal with me and my customer service person. So it made his life a lot easier. So if does anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
Hope I didn't
thank
talk too
you,
fast. I
Cheryle.
know it's hard when you're sitting virtually. I try to make it quick so you don't fall asleep on me.
No, that was perfect.
So um,
We do have a
yeah,
couple questions here.
okay,
I can go ahead and start reading them out to you.
sure.
Um, First question is, how do you coordinate delivery schedules when multiple product types are needed?
Well, they're made at different places. So we know when the products are needed. We have every week, every Tuesday, there's a scheduling meeting so that they know when the products are needed. It's amazing. Like it's so transparent. I can join the meeting if I'm not busy, but we get every night, the night before the meeting, we get a sheet of all the projects with orders and the scheduling, the load dates on them. So that's how they do it. They know when it's needed. They'll like ACM's made somewhere else. I mean, in a different area. Planks and bats are made in a different area. So it gets coordinated. And it's the other thing that's really cool that I've never seen. I've never seen packing like I have seen from our company. Like the order, it tells you exactly on the pallet what's on the pallet. On the pallets are obviously not like a tile pallet. They're much bigger, but it's crazy. So you know exactly what you're getting, but they do it's very well organized, very well packed, and they coordinate it. And then, like again, if they can get as much as they can on a truck or 2 trucks, it's just going to help you save a lot of money on freight.
Yeah,
Hope that
that's
helped answer your question.
yeah, I think that's perfect. Thank you. All right. The next question is, what are your typical lead times for each product category?
Our typical lead times are about 8 weeks. Now, right now we're doing the Titan Stadium. They weren't supposed to need material until starting December, and then they threw us a little loop. But what we do is if we try to stick to that schedule, what we do is we bring on another shift to
Mm,
help keep things going the way they need to be going. So it's about 8 weeks.
okay,
Now,
that's
if it's
perfect.
something more complicated or more detailed or special, then that could, or a special finish, then that could extend the lead time a little. But our typical standard stuff, it's about 8 weeks.
Okay.
And if it's going to change, why we have that tracking meeting every Tuesday is
Mhm,
to be aware of what's there, what's going on, if there's any problem, and we will let you know. We're
mhm.
very we communicate really well. We even have a sales meeting, a virtual sales meeting every other Thursday. The owners are always on it. They're always on that tracking meet. I've never seen anything like it, honestly. Even one of the owners was on a Mediterranean cruise and joined the meeting. So I mean, they're very involved. They know what's going on. They don't pass the buck. It's very refreshing, honestly. When you've worked at some of the companies I've worked for. Um, and if we need anything, there's a problem. They're like, what do we need to do to fix it? So yeah, it's really cool.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's good to
you're
know.
welcome.
All right. Next question is, do you offer any BIM or Revit families for your product lines?
I don't know about that. I know we've done CAD. Is that what if you're talking about something to insert for drawings?
Mm,
I'd have to find out. If you have my email, if you'll send me exactly what you need, I will at my office today. If you don't mind just sending me what it is you're looking for, I can get you an answer. I'd be happy
okay.
to do that. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. All right. And
They bought something recently, but I can't remember what it is. Sorry.
no, that's okay. I think that's actually our last question for now. So, if there's any other follow-up questions, folks, feel free to put that in the survey that pops up at the end. Um,
Please let me know if you need samples or like samples or a meeting. I'd be happy to
yes,
get them for you.
absolutely. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and
Yeah.
thank you so much, Cheryl. Would you like to wrap us up
Welcome.
with any final notes?
Me? No, I just appreciate any support. Give us a try. You won't be sorry. We're not getting the kind of projects we're starting to get by being a fly by night company. And again, we've been around about 35 years now. Even if you haven't heard of us, that's like I said, why they've hired me. I'm
Yeah,
getting our name out there as fast as I can.
awesome.
It's a big territory, so that but doesn't mean you will get slighted. So, like I said, if you need anything, you need to see you, whatever the case may be, just let us know. We're here to help.
Amazing. Thank you
Appreciate your
so much.
time.
Yes, we appreciate you, Cheryl, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. And thank you,
You
everyone,
all
for
as
listening.
well. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a great
Bye.
one. All right. Bye.